Hello. Not a lot to talk about doll-wise this week because my weekend time, which is when I usually get my big projects done, because I'm not on the computer as much. Anyway, last weekend I made this, which is not supposed to be, well, if you think it's ugly, that's fine. It's really supposed to be warm, and it's supposed to use up some of my cloth. And it certainly did that. And after I made it, when my kiddo saw it, he saw these sleeves and he would not stop petting them. And I had a little bit of it left, like maybe 2 pieces that were about 8 by 20. And he said, I want a jacket made out of that. And I said, there's not enough. And then he said, well, can I have a blanket made out of it? And I said, there's not enough. Chip. I said there might be enough to make a scarf. I could sew the 2 pieces together and line it, but he didn't seem too enthused by that. And then I had the idea I could make a plush kitty out of it. And he said, yay! So I thought I would use my simple plush pattern, which is basically a little teddy bear out of a 1980s craft book, only I make the ears pointy and the tail longer, and yay, it's a cat. But then I looked at how much cloth I had left, and I thought, I might be able to just barely get a Nunu doll cat out of it. If you're not familiar with the Nunu doll site, it's a Japanese site with lots of plush patterns and soft sculpture doll patterns. It's been around forever and they are really good patterns. They might be a little bit complicated, but I found that they went together well. This is the 3rd time I've made the cat, although I had to make some alterations to get it to work with the amount of cloth that I had left, and I wasn't able to observe the naps, so kind of different colors, different directions. But I didn't even look at the directions this time, and it went together pretty easy, and it's this. One of the alterations I made was making this shorter, and I made this little bit of a too much of a curve. I should have made it smoother, but I'm not going to worry about that. And I improvised the eyes out of green vinyl, and it's a little weird, and have a tail, and he knows that I'm making it. He doesn't know it's finished, so I'm going to call him in here now to get his kitty. Hey kiddo, can you come in here please? What? Can you come in here please? No. Would you like your kitty? No. You want to be in the video? No. Well, you're not. You might be in the video. I'll move the camera. Alright. You want your kitty?
Yes, I want my kitty cat.
Alright, there's your kitty. You got your kitty. You don't have to pat my jacket anymore. Alright, now I'm going to close the door to keep his YouTube sounds out. So those are my big projects, jacket and cat. I did decide to make a jumpsuit for my MSD-sized Dana I call Valeska. I did not make a formal, proper jumpsuit pattern like I have for the other dolls, nor did I use my existing jumpsuit pattern that I've shared and enlarged it. I just took my shirt pattern and pants pattern and pinned them together and went from there. And so it turned out pretty well. I mean, for years when I made a jumpsuit pattern, that's all I did was I would pin when I made a jumpsuit without a pattern, I would pin the shirt to the pants and hope that things got lined up enough. I initially thought I would make it all pink because she is super pink, but I realized maybe a break from the unrelenting pink would be appreciated, and this is some cloth that I got from that last sort of grab bag assortment of cloth from the thrift store. It was a fat quarter. So, used most of it. There's still enough of it for more, probably will become more doll clothes eventually. And I happen to have a zipper that actually had a blue zipper I could have used, but I thought this red zipper worked better since it was a lighter weight. And so, there's this. Again, if you take the jumpsuit pattern that I shared for Barbie-sized dolls and enlarged it, I'm not sure how much it might be able to work out for this. But again, I just took shirt pattern and pants pattern and mashed them up. It does have the elastic in the back because I like the amount of shape that gives it, although it could have been a little bit lower. So that was my big doll sewing project. And I wanted to sew something else today. I finished the Plush Cat this afternoon, today, and I had a little bit of time. I thought I would sew one more thing before making this video just so I'd have something else to show you. But I didn't know what I wanted to sew. Then I saw someone make a post talking about their experiences with sewing for dolls, and a lot of their experiences, I'll just say, don't line up with my experiences. But one of the things they said was absolutely never use silk for doll clothes, especially Barbie size clothes. And well, my first thought was, a lot of people say silk when they mean taffeta. Silk is a fiber, like cotton is a fiber, polyester is a fiber, nylon's a fiber, wool's a fiber. Silk is just the thread. The way you make it into cloth determines how it handles. Like, I agree that using taffeta for doll clothes is, for small doll clothes, especially cheap taffeta, it's just going to fray on you, because what makes taffeta so shiny is the fact that it has a lot of threads that float over the top of the more tighter weave, so that's just automatic fraying. But it doesn't matter whether it's made out of silk or polyester or acetate. Taffeta is not good for doll clothes. Silk can be used to make just a plain weave something. It can be a more coarse silk to make a more coarse weave. It can be knit. It can be made into satin. Satin, I see a lot of people confusing satin with silk. Satin and silk. Silk, fiber, satin, fabric. They are different. So of course I see this statement saying don't ever use silk for doll clothes, and I get a little contrary feeling. So that decided what I would do. I would use some silk for doll clothes for the dress I want to make today. It did help that I used a pattern that I've been using forever. I don't know if I haven't. Yeah, just this basic darted top, although this is a little more elaborate skirt, but just a basic pattern that I've used on I don't know how many dresses before. And I decided to finally use some vintage silk that I thrifted. That, yes, it didn't have the fiber content on the side, but if you're around different fibers enough, you can kind of get an idea how they feel. Like polyester feels a little bit oily and nylon feels a little bit oilier than that. Wool has a different feel from acrylic, especially if you handle wool enough, and if it's like me, it starts to make my hand itch. So I know this is silk. So here is the dress I made to be a grumpy, contrary person out of silk for Barbie. And there is still a little blue fuzz on everything. So I'm pretty sure this, like I said, I am very sure this is silk. I have not done a burn test. If you don't know anything about fibers, when you don't know what a fabric is made out of, you can actually cut off a little bit of it and in a safe environment burn it. And the way it smells and the ash, or if it's synthetic, it won't even form ash, it'll just melt into a little black lump. But the way the ash and char and whatever is left over of the cloth after you've burnt it, the way that looks and feels and smells, will let you know pretty well what's in the fabric. So I haven't done a burn test on this, but I'm pretty sure this will be like, it will reveal silk. So here is my silk Barbie dress made because I didn't know what else to make, and somebody said I couldn't do it, so I did it. I'm horrible. And I really like the color combination on this. It is one of those horrible color combinations that shouldn't work, but once you get it all together like this, it does, I think. And whoever bought it before me thought. But apparently not a lot of other people in the thrift store thought so, because I probably got this for half off, because most of my really odd cloth purchases are half off, and the lace I'm using for this skirt is a little shedding on the edges a little for the petticoat, because a vintage dress, style dress like this needs a petticoat to have the proper silhouette. So I am very happy with this dress. I'm glad that comment finally got me to make something out of this cloth that I've had for a while, and I actually have enough that I'm probably going to make a similar dress for the 60 centimeter ball jointed dolls eventually, because I see why they were saying don't use silk, even if they didn't mean taffeta or satin, even if they meant just a simple, this isn't even, yeah, this might be just a little tiny bit of a crepe, because it is very thin and slippery and wants to get away from you. But that's not because it's silk, it's because it's a combination of the properties of silk and the way it's woven. Polyester or nylon or acetate would also behave the same way when woven the same way. And actually I am less likely to use synthetics like polyester or nylon. I'm on the fence about acetate. Acetate is like rayon. It's not made out of petrochemicals. It's made out of plant fibers that are broken down and respun into fibers and threads and then spun and woven. I took a college course on fibers, textiles, and I got a really good grade in it. I really like the technology behind fibers and cloth and things, so I can babble at length on this. So I don't have any problems with synthetic fibers. I know they have great characteristics. It's just, in my own experience, I don't get along so well with synthetic fibers. I'm not a snob about it. I just, when I sew with them, they tend to get away with me. When I wear them, I tend to sweat. So, I know I'm getting into too much information because I'm just trying not to talk about cloth. So, I'll talk now. That's really all I have to do this week. I have not taken pictures of this yet. I have taken pictures of this. They are on my Flickr. I will also put a link up to the Nuno doll site so you can see that cat pattern and the other great patterns that Nuno has shared over the years. And that's it for this week. The kiddo goes back to school on Friday, so hopefully soon I can get back to recording the narration for my doll inventory video for anyone who's curious about that. Thanks.